You're welcome back. This time around, we want to quickly set up a VLAN on these two switches. But before I go ahead and set up the VLAN, I would like us to quickly partition or demarcate this network logically before I log into the switch and configure the VLANs. So what do I mean by that? What I will do now is to click on this rectangular icon here where I hover my mouse, and I'm going to pick a rectangle tool, which is this one, this blue one here. And what we do is basically make it easier for us to understand what we want to do. So I'm going to drag, just hold down your left key and then drag this guy down, and do same here. All right, and do same here. Just place your mouse, hold down the left key and drag it. Do same here, and we'll go back, close this box, and click here to drop that tool. So might bring this guy a little bit down inside the box. Okay, so might just adjust the systems. So this box will demarcate to give us a sense of what we want to achieve. So we don't want the systems to be on same department. Alright, so I'm going to click here to select a typing tool, and inside here we are going to type. So this will be sales, right, department, and this will be HR department, and these three systems here will be, let's say, finance department, and here we'll have ICT department. Okay, so come and drop the typing tool by clicking here. So this is HR, this is sales, and this is finance, and this is ICT. Okay, so here I think I need to pick the typing tool again. So this sales VLAN would be VLAN 2, or this HR will be VLAN 3, this will be VLAN 4, this will be VLAN 5. Okay, drop this guy finally. So could just move this a bit and this a bit. Alright, so now I'll get into the switch and configure the VLANs. So to get into the switch, we'll click on the switch and we click on CLI. CLI here means command line interface, and just expand this guy. So we are inside the switch as we speak. So what we need to do is just click inside the space and hit enter key. Here we are inside the switch, and whenever you log it to a device, the name of the device will show at the left hand side. So you could see switch, and then we have a greater than sign. The greater than sign we are seeing here tells us that the mode we are in is called the user mode. So in this mode we cannot configure anything. Alright, so to leave this mode we have to type enable as a command. At this point, any command you type, you have to hit the enter key on the switch, on the keyboard of your system. Alright, so you see that the prompt has changed where it moves from greater than sign to hash. So at this point we are in a mode called privilege mode. Yet again, you cannot configure a switch in the privilege mode, but this mode is where we can come back and save whatever it is we have configured on the device. So there is a mode where we need to configure anything configurable, and that is called global configuration mode. So you have to pass the user mode, you have to pass the privilege mode, then you get to global configuration mode. So to get out of privilege mode, you have to type configure terminal, and this configure terminal can be abbreviated as conft. So if I don't want to type it in full, terminal could be represented as T, while the configure can be represented as config, right? And then hit the enter key. Alright, so you could see that we have three modes in a Cisco device. The first mode is called user mode. We know it because the character is greater than sign. The second mode is called privilege mode. We know it because it has hash sign. To get out of user mode, we'll type enable, or EN for short. To get out of privilege mode, we'll type configure terminal, or config T for short. And here we have config in a bracket before hash. That means we are in the global configuration mode. Always try to get into this mode before you can configure anything inside your Cisco device. Alright, so here we want to begin to configure the VLANs, and it's very straightforward. So we'll say VLAN followed by a number. So you could see that I have VLAN 2, VLAN 3 here. If I hold shift key on my keyboard and question mark, you see that we have from VLAN 1 to 4094. So we can actually configure 4094 different VLANs. So when you do a VLAN, you are going to give the VLAN a number of your choice within this range, right? VLAN 1 is already inside the switch. It is like what we refer to as follow come. So it's a default VLAN that the switch comes with. And so we can go ahead and create our own VLAN, starting from VLAN 2, VLAN 3, VLAN 4, any number of your choice between 2 and 4094. So in this case, I'm going to use 2, which is going to represent my sales department. So we hit the enter key. You could see we are now inside the config-VLAN. So we have gotten into the VLAN configuration mode now. Now we need to give this VLAN a name to basically specify which department should be using this VLAN. So in this case, name of the department should be sales. It doesn't have to be uppercase letter, it could be small letters as well. So in fact, let me make a small letter, sales department, and that's it. We'll go ahead and create all the other VLANs. So this time with VLAN 3, name will be HR. VLAN 4, name will be, what is the VLAN 4? Okay, so I think VLAN 4 will be finance. Trying to see that. Okay, so VLAN 4 will be finance. Name finance, and we go ahead and create the final VLAN, which is VLAN 5, and the name of the department that should be using VLAN 5 is ICT. Alright, so we have actually created our VLANs, and I can actually end the configuration by typing end. That is telling switch that I'm done with what I want to configure. Alright, you type end, you hit the enter key 2 times, and here to see the VLANs that we have configured, we use the command show VLAN. So show VLAN, hit the enter key. Let's expand this wider. Alright, so you can see the output. So I'm going to scroll up so you see the results of what we have configured. So we use show command to actually get to see what we have configured in a device. Okay, just remember the command I use here is show space VLAN. Okay, so you could see what I was saying before. We have VLAN 1 that is already in the switch by default. So you can see the VLAN ID at the left hand side and the name of the VLAN at the right hand side. So the name of this one is default and is the default VLAN that comes with the switch, and every port on the switch by default belongs to VLAN 1. But then after the default VLAN that come that the switch built into the switch, you are going to see the ones that we have created ourselves. VLAN 2 we named it sale, and you could see that is active. VLAN 3 is HR, VLAN 4 finance, and VLAN 5 ICT. So that's how to create a VLAN. And then in the next video we'll be specifying which port on the switch should belong to which VLAN, depending on which department connects to which port on the switch. So go ahead, get into your packet tracer and make sure that you create a VLAN on switch 1. So you could see the switch we are using here, the one on the left hand side. So I could label it as well. So this guy will be switch 1 and this guy here will be switch 2. Okay, so that's when I say switch 1, we'll know which switch I'm referring to. So on switch 1 is what we just configured VLAN on. So if I go back to that switch by clicking on the switch, I could change the name of the switch from switch by going back to conft and do host name switch 1. Alright, effectively changes the name of the switch from switch to SW1, which is switch 1. So once again we'll end, and then we use WR to save our configuration in the switch. So WR simply means write to memory. Okay, so you see building configuration, and the moment you see OK, that means your configuration has been saved. In the next video we'll see how to assign VLANs, so switch ports, to a VLAN. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.